He was laughed at, rejected by every gallery, broke, starving, and ready to burn his last painting. But on the coldest night of his life, when the world said quit, he picked up the brush one final time. And what happened next changed art history forever. Stay with us as we reveal the untold journey of Elias Gray, the failed artist who rose to paint for the king himself. The fall of dreams. Once in the quiet village of Broadhollow, tucked away from the noisy world, lived a young man named Elias Gray. His hands were always stained with paint, his mind overflowing with color and visions, and his heart pulsing with dreams of becoming the greatest artist the world had ever known. Elias grew up watching his father mend shoes and his mother sew dresses. Money was scarce, but warmth was plenty. Yet there was no one in Broadhollow who could understand the grand visions Elias painted in his mind. At age 16, he sold his first portrait, a smiling woman under a cherry blossom tree, for a few pennies. The buyer laughed. "For your age, not bad, boy. But don't quit helping your father. Art's no breadwinner." Elias smiled but felt a sting. Was art really just a hobby? By 20, Elias left Broadhollow with a small suitcase and 25 paintings rolled under his arm, headed for the city of Grandeur, a place where dreams were made, they said. He imagined galleries, critics applauding, art lovers bidding for his masterpieces. But reality was crueler. Gallery after gallery rejected him. "Your style is old-fashioned. No market for this. The people want abstract, not realism." One curator even laughed. "You belong in the 18th century, boy." His savings thinned. Cheap attic room he rented dripped when it rained. His meals became stale bread and water. But the worst pain came from within. His confidence began to crack. Elias entered art contests. He failed. He displayed his paintings in open markets. They were ignored. On the rare occasion someone stopped, they said, "Nice work, but nothing special." His letters home became shorter. He could no longer tell his parents the truth. Their son, the artist of Broadhollow, was now a nobody in Grandeur. One winter night, frost crawling on the attic windows, Elias sat staring at a blank canvas. His paints were dry, his brushes frayed. He hadn't touched a brush in weeks. A knock came. His landlord entered. "3 months' rent, Elias." "I can't let you stay. I need more time," Elias pleaded. The landlord shook his head. "I like you, boy, but business is business. You've got 2 days." The door shut. Silence. Elias gripped the canvas's edge. He felt it deep. Failure. Maybe they were right. Maybe art wasn't my path. Maybe this was all just a childish dream. His eyes filled with tears. He was ready to burn his paintings, ready to quit. But something inside him, small, silent, but burning, refused. A voice whispered, "You came here for a reason. Is this really how it ends?" Elias wiped his tears. He stared at the blank canvas again. And for the first time in months, he lifted a brush. He painted, not to impress critics, not to sell, not to win, but to speak his soul. The colors danced as his emotions poured onto the canvas: anger, pain, fear, hope. It was raw. It was imperfect. It was real. The next morning, Elias carried this piece, called The Lonely Dreamer, to a small street corner in Grandeur, where buskers played music and poets shouted verses. He set the canvas on an old easel. People walked by, a few glanced, one stopped, then another. Soon a small crowd gathered. A gray-haired woman approached. "Who painted this?" "I did," Elias said softly. She smiled. "I feel this. This is human." Others nodded. A man whispered, "How much?" Elias blinked. No one had ever asked that. 50 crowns. He said, unsure. "Sold." The man replied, and just like that, Elias earned more than he had in months. The crowd thinned, but a man in a dark coat remained. He held a card. "Ever heard of the Rent Gallery?" he asked. Elias shook his head. "We showcase artists like you, real ones. Come tomorrow." The man left. Elias stood frozen. The winds of failure began to shift. The rise of hope the next day, Elias arrived at the Wren Gallery, a humble yet respected place where emerging artists found their first foothold. He entered, carrying 2 paintings, unsure if this was real. A tall, bespectacled woman greeted him. "You must be Elias Gray. My partner saw your piece on the street. He spoke highly of you." Elias nodded, nervous. "Let's see what you've got." He unrolled his works, The Lonely Dreamer, and an older painting of his village lake at dusk. The woman studied them. "Your technique is strong, but more importantly, you paint from the soul. We value that here." She smiled. "We'd like to feature you in our New Voices exhibit next month. Small section, 10 pieces. Can you manage?" Elias's heart soared. Yes. Yes, I can. The next weeks were a blur of creation. His brush moved like lightning. He painted memories of Brothello, the cobbled streets, his father's wrinkled hands, his mother's smile, the old bridge, the quiet forests where he dreamed of greatness. But doubt haunted him still. What if they laugh again? What if I fail publicly this time? One night, exhausted, Elias stood before his favorite new work, The Bridge of Beginnings. It showed a young boy standing on a wooden bridge under moonlight, staring toward distant mountains. The bridge in the painting cracked slightly, just like him, but the boy stood firm. "I will stand firm too," Elias whispered. Opening night arrived. The Wren Gallery filled with critics, collectors, journalists. Elias stood in the corner, breathless, heart pounding. One by one, visitors stopped before his section. Murmurs rose, smiles, thoughtful gazes. A reporter approached. "Mr. Gray, these paintings, who inspired them?" Elias swallowed. "My village, my family, my failures, my dreams." The reporter grinned. "You have truth in your art. The city needs this." Others came. Some praised his technique. Some bought pieces. The Bridge of Beginnings, sold for 500 crowns. Elias could hardly believe it. But the greatest moment came when an old man in a velvet coat approached. He introduced himself as Marius Holt, a master artist, retired, respected across the land. "I see your heart in these works, young man," Marius said. "Very rare. Few remember that art is born from struggle." He shook Elias's hand. "Keep walking this path. You'll go far." That night, as Elias packed his unsold paintings, fewer than he'd expected, for many had sold, he felt something he hadn't in years. Hope. The next weeks changed everything. Galleries contacted him. Commissions came. His name appeared in small art journals. The honest painter of Brothello. Money flowed, but not lavishly. Enough to move to a better room, enough to send coins home to his parents. And yet Elias remained humble. He knew this rise could fall. One evening, a letter arrived. It bore the royal seal. The King's Art Council wished to meet. Elias's hand trembled. Was this real? The redemption of the soul, the Royal Gallery in grandeur, was the dream of every artist. Only the greatest works hung there, masterpieces seen by kings, nobles, and foreign dignitaries. Elias stood before its iron gates, heart racing. Inside, he met Lord Benedict, the council's chief. "Your village paintings reached the court," the Lord said. "His Majesty appreciates your honesty. He desires a special commission, a grand mural for the palace's Hall of Memory." Elias gasped. "A mural of what?" "The journey of man," Lord Benedict said. "Struggle, fall, rise, redemption." Elias knew at once. He accepted. For 6 months, he painted the palace mural. He began with shadowy figures, men broken by failure, dreams lost, faces downcast. Then came the middle section, figures rising, striving, lifting burdens. Finally, the right side blazed with light, figures triumphant, standing atop hills, their eyes toward the sky. The mural was not just art. It was Elias's life. When complete, the king himself visited. He stood in silence, studying the vast canvas. After a long while, he spoke. You have captured the soul of man, Elias Gray. Few can do this. Your work will inspire generations. The king offered Elias a title, Royal Painter of Grandeur. The boy from Broadhollow had become legend. News spread. Journals proclaimed, from street painter to royal artist, the rise of Elias Gray. Broadhollow celebrated. His parents wept with pride, but Elias felt something deeper than fame. He felt peace. He remembered the attic room, the cold, the rejection. And he smiled, for without that pain, without the fall, this redemption would be hollow. He visited Broadhollow. Children ran to him, crying, Master Gray, teach us to paint. Elias gathered them under the village oak. He gave each child brushes and paints. Paint your dreams, he said. One shy boy asked, but what if people laugh? Elias knelt. Then paint for yourself. The world's laughter means nothing if your soul is proud. The boy smiled. As the children painted, Elias looked to the horizon. His journey wasn't over. New dreams stirred. New hills called. But he had learned the greatest lesson of all. Failure is not the end. It is the forge where greatness is born. From rejection to redemption. This was his true masterpiece.